Hey y'all, this is Ronte, and a little thing I love about the Chick-Fil-A honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich is the richness of the pimento cheese. When I took a first bite, I was like, go, go, go cheese, go pimento, go honey, go chicken, go, go, go get it.
Good evening and welcome to the Chick-Fil-A Douglas Coaches Show. I'm Matt Peavy, and alongside of me tonight is Coach Mike Coe. Coach, it's good to see you. I missed out on you last week, but I'm glad to be back, and we got a lot to talk about and break down. But we just want to welcome you. We want to thank everybody that is joining us here in our dining room here at Chick-fil-A Douglas. We want to thank everybody who's joining us online via YouTube. Please be sure to share this on all of your social media pages, whatever you choose to be a part of on social media, and join us each Monday night as we break down the wonderful season that we're having here with our football team and our players of the game. As always, bringing them in is a joy, and we just thank you for joining us. And today we just want to start off, Coach. Let's talk about, we're not going to go to varsity right now, but let's talk a little bit about our middle school football team. Got a big game coming up this week, semifinal game coming up here in Douglas, playing the Colquitt County Packers. How's our football program as far as the farm system looking?
Yeah, so Coach Cooper and his staff down in 7th grade have done a tremendous job. I actually went out and watched them practice a little bit today. I gave our guys a day off since we're open. So I got to go out and watch 8th grade a little bit and then finish off watching 7th grade. And he's got it going really good. It's like a well-oiled machine, very organized and structured. And I got to go last week and watch those guys play over at Tift County. They won 26-20. So they secured the #1 seed, and they'll host Wednesday night at Jardine at 4:30 against Colquitt. And if they win that one, I believe they'll get to host again the next week for the championship.
That's great.
So
that's great.
Looking forward to that. Hope everybody will come out. I know there might be a possibility of some weather, but hopefully it'll pass us by and they can have a great game. And then the 8th grade has to turn right back around and go play the same Tift team that they played last Thursday. They lost 6-0, but they'll go over there and play Thursday afternoon. If they can win that one, then I think they play for the championship the next week as well. So we have some talent down there. They're learning how to work, and I'm looking forward to those guys moving up with us eventually and getting to work with us.
That's what I was going to ask you, Coach, your philosophy on filtering everything down. Do you guys put a big emphasis on running the same type of offense,
Absolutely.
The same type of defense, and coaching those coaches up to do so?
Yeah, so before we started the season, we had a Sunday afternoon where I brought every coach in our system, and I think it's like 36 of them, total. And we came in on a Sunday afternoon and we got on the board and we clinicked, and I gave my spiel about culture and expectations, and we want everything from weightlifting to nutrition to academics, all that first, and then the football will take care of itself. But we want it to mirror exactly how we call things, our terminology, on both sides and special teams. That way you're creating a program and not just a team, a one-year deal. You're creating a program, and it makes it easier for the kids.
Yeah.
Things are called the same things year after year after year, and by the time they get to us, they already know what everything means. The basics are put in, and it allows us to, get more fancy is not the right term, but we can do more with those kids because they already have the base stuff that we do. It's a work in progress. We'll have to go back and evaluate. I'll evaluate everything after every year, and I can assure the people in our town the one thing I will do is if we need to make changes, we'll make changes, and because my job is to get the very, very best men that we can get in here to coach our kids, that's going to love on them first and teach. You got to teach at that level really well. You're a teacher. You can't assume that kids know a lot about football. Like, you need to start with, this is a football.
Yeah.
Literally. And you got to be a great teacher at that level. You got to be a great motivator at that level. And so, we'll evaluate at the end of the season. And if we need to move some people around, we will, or try to get other people in there. We'll do whatever we have to do. My goal is 6 through 12. We've got the very best coaches that we can have, because that's what those kids deserve. And you know, where this thing just turns into it's not a rebuilding.
Right.
You know, you reload every year, and we're on the way. You know, we're on the way, and we're there in some areas, some we're not, and we just have to keep pushing until we get that. And the one thing I'm gonna do is keep pushing until we get that. You know, I don't like to lose at anything.
No, sir.
You know, and I really don't like to lose because we're slacking, you know, somewhere or not. So we want to ask our kids every day to push themselves to the ultimate limit, and so as coaches we have to do that too. So you know, that's where we're at with that. But I'm proud of how far we've come so far.
Yeah, we are too, Coach. You're having a great season. We're going to continue to mention that, the success. One of the things we say at Chick-Fil-A Douglas is we pursue perfection and settle for excellence. So we love that mindset. Let's lean in and talk a little bit about the ninth grade football team and how their seasons win and what the outcomes.
Man, those guys, you know, Coach Brockton brought him in as the head coach this past year, and he's got a military background, you know, very structured, very organized. He kept a majority of the ninth grade staff we had, and he lets those guys coach. He's like the leader of it. He organizes, he structures, he handles the discipline, you know, the itineraries, and he lets those other guys really, really coach those kids. And right now, you know, they're undefeated. There's not a lot of them. I think there are 35 of them maybe. But from game one against Irwin, where they found a way to win, to going over to Lowndes a couple of weeks ago, I mean, you know, we've got 35 kids dressed. They've got 65. And our guys jump out on them 18-0 and hang on to win 18-13, you know. And then last week, you know, came away with a win as well. And so they just keep getting better and better, and they're learning how to compete. They're learning how to practice. You know, they had a great summer, you know, getting better, but they're getting in great shape now. And a lot of them play both ways, you know. And so, again, it's just a matter of learning how to show up every day and being the best version of yourself at everything you do, you know. And that's hard for a young guy, you know. And when you go from middle school to ninth grade, the ante goes up. You know, the amount of time you spend, it's a year-round deal. If you want to play, you know, if you want to get on the field and participate and play at a high level, it's year-round, and you have to commit to that, and that's not easy, and some guys aren't willing to do it. You know, in middle school, you know, you play on Wednesdays and Thursdays. You don't have a full week of practice. You don't have as much during the summer, and you know, but hopefully, again, we can keep getting better and better down at those lower levels and keep kids out and keep them interested and make football fun, you know. And I think if you ask our older guys, very rarely do we run after practice. Because we're going to practice so fast, you know, and our tempo at practice. See, Fred's making a look over there. I did run them last Tuesday. But they know if they do what they're supposed to at practice and practice at the tempo that's expected, that's their conditioning. You know, we don't stand around and talk a lot. We're going to rep things as much as we can. You know, that way it just becomes second nature. And we've got to funnel that down to our lower levels and not talk as much at practice. You know what I mean? You do all that talking and teaching during the summer and during the spring, and by the time you hit the fall, man, you should be repping that thing over and over and over. And by the time you get in the middle of the season, I bet our guys have run power and inside zone 1,000 times. You know what I mean? It needs to become second nature, and they need to know how to do it. And that's what I want from sixth grade all the way up. You know, and that's what we got to get to, and we will. You know, we're working towards getting there, and it's better than it was last year, but we've got to keep growing.
Yeah, and I know you can't, in anything in life, really, you got to keep pushing. You can't become complacent, because if you become complacent, we know what happens there. But you can tell just from the fruit that's out on the field that these guys are taking on to a few things that we've mentioned multiple times but they have fun playing football, and the repetition in the offseason has showed, because they're able to go out and perform with a confidence that you don't really see in a lot of football teams. And I'm talking varsity when I'm thinking varsity when I'm talking this, but when you see a lot of teams later in the season, they begin to play with confidence. Our guys have played with that up front, and that right there in itself will breed down. People want to be around winners.
Oh, yeah.
There's always going to be haters on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
But people want to be around winners. So we appreciate that mindset because, you know, that mindset plays into our community.
Oh, yeah.
And my son is 3, but he's coming up. You know,
Yeah.
my daughter, they're going to play and they're going to be around Douglas, and I want winners. I don't want to raise losers. So this week we had a successful week, another win. Coach, honestly, going into this week and just kind of talking, you knew that there was the challenge of Richmond Hill, the potential. You felt confident that as long as we performed, and we performed, probably not. There were a lot of small things that we did wrong in the second half, probably not as strong as a performance as we wanted for this game, but we come out victorious. We're ranked number 20 in the state of Georgia out of all classifications, and that is something to be thankful for, not to settle for, but to be thankful for. And then we're ranked number 1 in 5A. So congratulations on your 151st win and being ranked number 1 in 5A. And Mr. Robert Preston sent me a text today. Apparently the last time Coffee County was ranked number 1 was in 1976, and Greg Walker was the quarterback. So here we are.
That was 47 years ago. I was born in 76.
Born in 76, and it's taken us that long to kind of get back to this area. So again, congratulations. Let's talk about Friday night and then moving forward, how we're going to continue to keep the guys focused on one game at a time.
Well, I'll start with our defense. Coach Granado and his staff over there on the defensive side do a tremendous job.
They're just shutting people
of
down.
Preparing those guys and preparing their eyes and seeing the other team's best stuff over and over and over. And our number one goal every week is to take away their best player or players and their best plays and make them do something else or make somebody else beat us. And last 2 weeks, Salem nor Richmond Hill has crossed the 50-yard line.
Unbelievable.
And that's just a testament of those kids on that side are communicating. Our defensive linemen, when I watched film, the first thing I told Coach Granado was if you'll stem and move those defensive linemen, I really think it'll give Richmond Hill problems communicating and stuff because, their number one play was buck sweep, and you start changing people around, it changes who blocks who. And I'm going to tell you, and that's why our defensive hog was all 3 of those starting linemen. They just they sacrifice their body. They take on blocks. They absorb double teams. They keep people off our linebackers and safeties. They're not concerned with stats. And they try to get you in 3rd and long where then they can go eat, and get a sack or get a pressure. And those guys do a great job. Our linebacker, Richmond Hill traded the tight end and the H-back a lot, and our guys, man, is just like a machine. But they've seen so much of that from our offense since March when we started installing, in April and spring and this summer. We do a lot of the same things. And then when you play Fitzgerald early, they're going to do all that stuff. So our kids have seen all that, and right now, they know how to adjust. They know how to fix things on the fly. And the thing that I love about them, even if they give up a play, it doesn't lead to another one. They're able to get rid of it, and that's a trait now. Not everybody can do that, and they don't pout, and they just go play the next play, and they bow their neck. And Bainbridge was a perfect example of that. How many 3rd and 4th down stops they made down in the red zone, and so. But like today, I told them we can still get better. The challenge is, are we satisfied? When the kids walked in today, I tore off I got a picture of the big Kool-Aid man that says "Don't drink the Kool-Aid," and I tore it off.
I've seen your post on Facebook.
And I love the fact that we're ranked number 1 and all this and that. But it's like I told the kids, I expected to be here. Did y'all expect to be here? I told you when I got here, this is what we were coming for, and they've put in the work, and they believe it, and they've earned the right to be that. But nobody's going to remember who was number 1 on September 25th. You know what I mean? And so. Yes, I'm glad we're there, and our kids deserve it, but, stats are for losers and, rankings and all that good stuff. The challenge is, can we continue to get better? That's mental toughness. Right? Are we going to settle for where we're at right now? Or are we going to go out and have the best open week we've ever had? Practices, and so had a great lift today in the weight room, and I gave them today off to heal up and all that. And we'll get back out tomorrow and have a full practice and get after it. But I've told you all year I love this group. They seem to have it. They complement each other so very well in all three phases. And
you also mentioned that sorry to cut you off, but your defense really is, before I forgot this, you also mentioned to me that this is one of the smartest defenses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That you've ever coached.
Yeah.
Do they spend a lot of time in film study, or?
Yeah, they do, but Coach G's a lot like me. He'd rather go out on the field.
Right.
I mean, we're going to show film and we're going to go through stuff, but we'd rather go out and walk through it and rep it, 1,000 times. And it's not going to look real good on Monday. Tuesday, it'll look a little better. Wednesday, if it looks terrible, you might be in trouble. But if Wednesday, they're sharp and there's not any mental errors and blown assignments, you feel really good. And then Thursday morning, you come out and sharpen it up and finish it. And then you go play. I mean, you know what I mean? You go get after it and play and let the chips fall where they may. But, and offensively, man, we played well. We just didn't finish. We had some key turnovers. And I'll be honest with you, when we got to 21-0, I wasn't going to do anything that would give them any momentum. You know what I mean? And we almost did. We gave up a sack, fumble. And after that, I told Coach Hall and them, I said, listen, we're going to ride Fred and we're going to ride this offensive line. And we go out of here 21-0, I'm fine with it.
I think he had 365 rushing yards alone Friday night.
Yeah, I think we had 468 total.
468 total,
Trey was 13-15 passing, for 100-something yards. And so he's going to keep getting better and better, and this has been good for us. It's been good for him. And even when Maurice comes back, I'm going to continue to play Trey some because he's the future, and just let him keep getting reps. There's nothing like game time reps, and we just got to keep getting better. We're not good enough to turn the ball over. And what I stress to the offense today, our defense is playing at such a high level. Just don't put them in bad spots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just don't put them in bad spots. Do what we do. If we have to punt, we'll punt it and let our defense go play, But like I told him after the game, I promise you, Coach Co ain't going to be mad with a 21-0 victory. Because Richmond Hill's not a bad football team.
They're not at all.
You're
right.
And it's good because we can work on that stuff this week, Yeah. And I thought Fred got in there on that third down there. I mean, the guy on the other side signaled touchdown. Fred's half his body's laying in the end zone. But it is what it is, We've got to get better on third and fourth and short, and we'll really work on that this week and get better at that and continue to get better on special teams. And, I'm excited. We're right where we want to be.
Yeah.
We're in the mix. We're in the chase. And the team that keeps getting better is going to win this thing. And that's the goal, and that's the challenge.
Well, I like that. And I think we've talked about it a little bit, but it is unfortunate, but it's also great that we're able to have our second string quarterback play as much as he's playing, because it's a long season, and the further we go, the more we dig into some competition, some deep region play. Anything can happen in region, no matter what the records show. And then obviously when we hit the playoffs, 5A classification is no joke. There's some really good teams in our state in 5A, and we're atop of 5A, and we're one of those good teams. But there's other good teams out there. Trey's a good-looking man. He's a good-looking athlete, and I'm excited that he's been able to play some, and not just play but be efficient. I mean, he threw the ball well Friday night, like you said. The Friday night before that, he had good numbers and was efficient.
He's grown up. He really learned in the off season. I saw a change, and he learned. Coming through middle school, he was always better than most people they played. He was the best athlete on the field, and he learned how to work in the off season. I saw a change in his attitude and his approach, his demeanor. Every day he went and got it in that weight room. We went outside to work speed. He went and got it. This summer, coming into ninth grade, I'd have to go get him sometimes. He'd oversleep, and this summer, man, he was there early and he was ready to go. And when you see that in a kid, he's bought in. He understands. Again, the ante is raised, and I got to go. I got to go chase this thing every day if I want to use what God's gave me. And he's done that, and he's a lot like Maurice when it comes to his demeanor, man. He's calm and cool. And he was upset when he gave up that sack fumble, but he wants to be perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and you want guys that want to compete and want to be perfect. And so he's got a bright, bright future. I'm really, really proud of him and how he stepped in. There's a lot of teams that would love to have a guy like Trey Ross.
Yes, sir.
To be able to step in. I can assure you that.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got him.
That's awesome. Let's go. Before we get to our players of the game, we're going to talk about, we've got the off week. We're looking forward. How are we on injuries before we get to kind of talking about this off week and our next opponent?
Well, I mean, we came out the other night just, nicks and bruises, your normal stuff, and we should have both Maurice Hansley and Mykeva Smith back next week against Bradwell. So we should, as long as we practice smart and stay off the ground and don't get anybody banged up, we should have our full team for the first time since, probably halftime at Bainbridge.
That's awesome.
Going into region play. So, again, with Smitty being out, of course, Reed is stepping there. We got 4 guys that can play them 3 linebacker spots.
Yes, sir.
And if we play somebody where we need to play 4 linebackers, we can do it. Chris has played extremely high level. So we're going, even when Smitty gets back, man, we're going to have a good rotation in there, keep guys fresh. And so, again, good problem to have.
That's a good problem to have. So off week is pretty kosher. I mean, you go through, you practice, you read film, you try to let people heal up. Let's talk about following week. Our opponent that we're going to be playing. Have you had a chance to look at them on film?
Bradwell.
Yes.
We may have a little film. We may have. Yeah, I think their quarterback leads 5A in passing. They throw it quite a bit, and have, their spread. They're trying to chunk it. Their spread, trips, and empty. And so our secondary will have a big challenge. Quarterback can run the ball, so our D-line will have a big challenge containing him, And so, again, we'll work really hard on this week on fixing things that we need to fix from last week. And then probably Thursday we'll get into Bradwell a little bit, and then next week we'll go through our regular week and play at home next Friday. And, man, we need to pack that thing.
Yes, sir.
First region game. And these kids have worked hard, and they feed off the energy in that stadium. And we need to pack it out. And it'll be our pink out game.
Okay.
So encourage all the fans to wear pink. I'll pick one game in October and let our kids, they can wear as much pink as they want. And so next Friday will be that game for our guys. And we even have a couple kids whose grandmas have breast cancer or some form of cancer. And so that'll be our pink out game. And man, I hate open weeks. I want to go with our guys and play on Friday, but it is what it is.
Well, I don't know if I've studied the game. I mean, I've been officiating the last several years, but so I typically call every Friday night. Is it typical to have 2 open weeks in a season?
Man, we've had 3. Because we play a spring game, we only get 1 scrimmage.
Okay.
So this week, everybody in our region is open.
Okay.
So nobody in our region will play. You get an open week going into region play, and so. I mean, it works out good for us, because you get your quarterback back and Schmitty and all that. But
it's an open week.
Yeah, we just have so many of them. It just feels like, man, we get going good, and then boom, we have an open week. So this will be the last one, and then I told our kids it's a race to the finish, So looking forward to it.
I love it. We're looking forward to it too. Again, congratulations. Keep up the hard work. We're praying for you. Full support here from Chick-Fil-A Douglas.
Appreciate y'all.
And we look forward to seeing you next Monday night here on the show. We're going to bring in some of our players of the game. Thank you, Coach Coe. So whoever's up first, I think Fred,
Probably
Pat,
Fred Brown.
they're fighting for it right now.
Fred
But
loves the microphone.
as they're coming, you heard Coach, not this Friday night, but next Friday night is we're opening up with the first region game out at Jardine Stadium. So we're encouraging and mark your calendars, be out there at 7:30 to support our boys. As we want to continue to not only just play well, but continue to be number 1 in 5A. That's got to feel good, right?
Yes,
and continue to be undefeated. So let's talk about that, man. I mean, what do you think? Coming into the season, was you expecting to be number 1 in 5A?
Yes, sir, because every day during the summer, everybody was committed. Just put the work in and get better.
Good. Well, I've heard a lot of good things about you, man. Not only are you performing on the field, I hear,
Yes, sir.
but you're performing in the classroom.
Yes,
Talk
sir.
about how important the classroom is when it comes to that education versus football.
The classroom is important because if you want to play ball, you got to have the grades. Because without the grades, you can't get nowhere.
That's right, man. That's right. That's very good. We're proud of you doing that. Let's talk about Friday night. against Richmond Hill. Was there one play that just stuck out to you Friday night that was your favorite play that you just go back and you're watching that reel over and over in your head?
It'd probably be my touchdown play because my line was a big part of that, and they opened up the play for me to score. So
You remember how many yards it was?
maybe like 15-yard run, maybe. Yes, sir.
So how many touchdowns you had on the season?
3. I've scored the last 3 games.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. You're off. Do you play defense or just offense?
Just offense.
Just offense?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Let's talk about, real quick, the camaraderie, the love that you guys have for that. How do you guys stay positive with each other, and how do you just maintain that unity as a team?
When we have a mistake, we just always try to keep each other up because if we bringing each other down, we start to lose focus and our momentum just drop.
That's good, man. Well, hey, you guys are having a fantastic season. You're a big part of the success.
Sure.
But what I love about this Trojan group is you guys play team ball. So again, congratulations. Keep working hard. Don't get complacent, man. Don't get complacent. Just keep one game at a time, getting better, like Coach said.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you this: who's your favorite college football team?
I had to say Colorado.
Colorado, you jumping on the bandwagon
Yes,
too?
sir.
Well, I like Dion. I like
Yeah,
Prime. I love the way his personality, and he's just a winner. So I'll let you pass on that. They did take a tail whooping this past Saturday, but they'll bounce back from it. Who you going to watch Saturday?
Colorado.
You going? Oh yeah, you flying out to
Yes,
watch
sir.
Colorado. That's awesome. That's gonna be exciting, man. Well, good luck to you. Congratulations on being Player of the Week.
Thank you.
And hey, man, we got your back. We're supporting you. We're gonna be rooting you on Friday night.
Yes,
Next
sir.
Friday night. All right. Great.
Thank
Come on, Fred. Fred's coming in. I think we got a couple nicknames for him, but if I remember right, we call him. Call him Superman. Is that it? Superman. I thought I was gonna say Tank. Somebody called you Tank at one time.
They call me
But
everything.
they call you everything. They call you Superman. So Fred, I hear Fred likes to talk a lot, so we're gonna talk a little bit. Man, I've been wanting to interview you since the beginning of the season, man. Since the first time I seen you run, dude, you run that ball like an old school running back. Got to be honest with me. Do you love contact?
Yes, sir.
You got to the way you run the ball. So you've had a great year. You're leading 5A as the number one running back in 5A with 857 total yards. You've got 8 touchdowns. What do you credit that success to?
So my head coach and my O-line, mostly my O-line.
Well, now I know you probably don't want to, but who's your favorite offensive lineman? Who's got your back the most on the offensive line?
I say Montavious Turner.
Oh, there you go. You heard it there.
Oh my God.
So preparing for a game, getting mentally ready, you know you're going to get the ball about 20, 25 times a game. What do you do throughout a week or leading up to Friday night just to get yourself amped up, ready to tote that ball, ready to run some people over?
I say the weight room help. The weight
Okay.
room.
So you work hard in the weight room? So what do you squat?
Like I think 600.
Woo, that's pretty good now. 600. How about deadlift?
On deadlift, I probably do about 5. 4,
Okay.
5.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Going back to I asked Pat about Friday night, but let's talk about the season as a whole. What's your favorite memory or moment that you just kind of look back on and you was like, oh yeah, I done that thing?
I say summertime.
Okay.
When we like all putting in work and like the buy-in we have during the summer. I said summertime.
So you felt like during the summer you guys kind of clicked as an offense.
Yeah.
Well, man, you guys play. I love it. You play with confidence. You have fun, and it's showing on the field. Congratulations on being number 1 in 5A, ranked number 20 in the state, and congratulations really on being player of the game, but being number 1 running back in 5A as well, man. We're proud of you. Keep running that ball. Keep holding on to that football and toting the rock. I'm going to ask you, like I asked Pat, who's your favorite football team in college right now?
I say UGA. I don't know what Pat was talking about.
UGA. Go Dogs. I hear you. We know Coach is a Florida State fan. You think if Georgia and Florida State meet, you think Georgia can take them?
Of course.
I got to agree with you. Hey, guys, thank you once again for joining us here at the Chick-fil-A Douglas Coaches Show. We appreciate you being with us each week. Join us next Monday night live from here at 7 p.m. We want you to come here and sit in the dining room, enjoy Chick-fil-A, and watch us. Or you can always join us online at YouTube. Be sure to share this so that the community can see. Rally around our boys, and we'll see you next Monday night here at 7 p.m. at Chick-fil-A Douglas. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening.